eternity for this? Really thought you guys would be a little bit more interested.
I mean, listen, Conqueror, we've been talking. We don't think it's necessarily the right time. I mean, you do realize our job involves killing people with diseased frogs and leprosy. Pretty serious stuff.
Yes, Famine. I know what our job entails, but it's that way for a reason. Sure, there's some killing, but really, we're only taking out the people who didn't deserve to come back with us in the first place. Plus, the trumpet sounded, and it only sounds once, and when it does, it means that the world is finally ready for us to come down and do our responsibility. The rapture, then Judgment Day. These are pretty serious times. You guys should really be more eager. We've been talking.
We don't think it's necessarily the right time.
What is that even supposed to mean? Of course it's the right time. Like I said, the trumpet sounded. It only sounds once, and when it does, it means that the world has reached a place in which it will not get better. It's our job to go down there, and we can only do that if we plan this meeting and plan it out.
Are we really going to start the rapture just because an alarm went off?
No.
Shouldn't we evaluate the status of Earth before we go down and wipe half of the population? If we're talking job description, there's something else we're supposed to do before we go down.
Fine. Let's go over this. Criteria for the rapture. Nice. Really fun. Criteria for the rapture. This is the exact list that we made 2,000 years ago. Why don't we just go ahead and compare the current world to this list, and we'll see if, in fact, it has the qualifications for us to go down. Okay? First up.
Are we allowed to talk about
Actually, no. It's too complicated. We're just going to skip it. We'll come back to it. Science and nature. Science and nature is defined as extreme changes in temperatures and climates. According to my notes, global warming is a definite problem. 99% of all greenhouse gas emissions are caused by humans and caused by deforestation. I feel like this is an absolute qualification that the world is ready for the rapture.
Well, it's definitely not a good situation. All we've been watching people do is participate in large corporational work which promotes poor waste management and would rather watch the air be poisoned than pay their employees a living wage. The system definitely has its flaws, but you can't forget about the millions of people attempting to reverse that damage every single day. I mean, it's important to consider the people who are trying to make lifestyle changes based on their love for the planet. They started using more reusable materials, less disposable plastic. Many have been supporting small family businesses that don't have the same poor waste management. I mean, if you're ever doubtful, just think of Ethiopia. Ethiopia's planted nearly 4 million trees since the beginning of 2019. They saw that their forest was dying, so they did everything in their power to fix it. And it's working. I mean, what makes you think that the rest of the world isn't capable of that too? I don't know what message it sends to you, but the message it's sending to me is that people are trying. And if people are trying, then maybe the rapture doesn't necessarily have to happen right now.
Okay, you know what? Fine. Maybe if people are trying to improve on their environment, and in some cases it's going somewhere, then there are no signs of nature that mean that the rapture is going to happen. But I need you to remember that the trumpet still sounded, which means that there are some qualifications on Earth that means that we are ready to come down. So how do we feel about famine? Famine is described as a very high number of people who do not have regular access to food. According to my notes, there are 81.6 million people who are chronically undernourished, and 99% of those people do not have governments who are willing to support them and give them the food they need to survive or be healthy. I need you to all look me in the eyes and tell me this is not an absolute reason that the rapture needs to happen now.
Sure, the world is full of people who are starving, but let us not forget those who are working to help those people. A big part of our religion is making sure that you're helping those who can't help themselves. For example, there are plenty of organizations that have been started with an interest in public health, and there's even things that everyday people can do. For example, there's organizations that connect farmers directly to people, ensuring that they have the food that they need to survive for cheap. And these teams are even working with women's rights teams in developing countries to make sure that those women have the ability to gain an income and work outside of the home. Just like they said, as long as we're making sure that people are bettering the society, then there's no reason to go down for the rapture right now.
Fine. If it looks like the future regarding famine is getting better, then maybe it's not the reason that we need to go down for the rapture. I guess that just leaves science and society for discussion. Science and society is defined as the individual problems that people have with themselves. That may include being money-loving, ungrateful for their possessions, self-loving, and all of those things. I think that since you guys had such an easy time defending that the other qualifications weren't good enough, you'll have a really hard time defending that this is not a reason to go down for the rapture.
Yeah, I think the problem here is the number of people who do those things is astronomical. And if we only brought back people with us who are free of those sins, we wouldn't end up bringing anybody back with us at all. All of those characteristics you named are relatively frequent and, well, human. Also, it seems a little entitled to act like any of us understand a person's true being. Who are any of us to decide who is too proud or whether or not they're ungrateful? It's a little bit overbearing, and humans were blessed with the ability to be complicated. And if complicated means that they're going to have negative traits, so be it. That's how it's been forever, and as long as the human condition isn't changing in a drastic, negative way, then that's definitely not grounds for us to go down and start the rapture.
So what you're trying to tell me is, if people keep trying to better themselves and better their world, then maybe they just don't need us to come down.
No, not really. I've maybe spent this whole meeting coming to the same conclusion. As long as they're trying to improve, we should probably let them. We should decide not to go down for the rapture until they stop trying to work to help their world reach its best potential.
Okay, but now what are we supposed to do? Like I said, this is literally our only job. Some of us have been waiting for 2,000 years for this. It doesn't seem like the people need us now, and I don't know if they ever will.
I think that's a good thing.
It's definitely a good thing. If all we're doing is sitting here watching people to make sure that they're bettering society, then there's really no reason to go down for the rapture. And honestly, I'm content with that.
Me too.
Me too.
Me too.